Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my birth story, so if you want to find out exactly what happened when I was in labour, then carry on watching. So, my previous video was my induction story, and that was a very long-winded induction, and it's quite a long-winded story, but I wanted to do it in two parts because I didn't want to bore you with a whole like 45-minute long saga. So, after all of that, went to the labour ward, and this is what happened. So we met our midwife, we had our own room, and I had to quickly go for a wee, and then got sat on the bed because I was getting hooked up to the monitor, and that monitor was going to be on me for a really long time, until baby was born. So I think in my last video I said ECG, but I think it's actually called a CTG. So you have one that monitors your contractions, one that monitors your baby's heart rate. So I was on there, buzzing to be there. It was 11:30 in the morning on Friday the 12th of July. I've got my notes here if that's what I keep thinking I'm looking down. Midwife was called Hager, and she explained like what was going to happen. So basically I was going to get put on a hormone drip to try and speed things up. They wanted me to get to the point where I was having 4 contractions lasting 60 seconds every 10 minutes. So because also my waters had broke 24 hours before, so that was at 6 in the morning, like after 6 in the evening, like there was more risk of infection as well. So they wanted me to get into proper labour, establish labour, and get the baby out. So very exciting. So they said to me, with the hormone drip, and this is what I'd heard, everything can happen quite quickly. It can be excruciating pain. It could be more painful than a normal labour, normal contraction. So I'd already been experiencing the normal contractions, and I was still having them, but she said they could be really bad. And she said, look, it's not going to be nice for you, it's not going to be nice for Charlie, it's not going to be nice for me because I don't want to see you in pain. Do you want an epidural? She said, you can try it without, but if it gets to the point where you're really in agony and the anaesthetist isn't free, then it's going to be really traumatic. So I was like, okay, yes, I will have an epidural. And to be honest, the minute I found out I was going to labour ward and I wasn't having a water birth, in my head I was having an epidural, whatever. So we had to wait for the doctor to come, which actually wasn't until like late on in the afternoon. I don't think I realised quite how long we waited until I'm telling the story back. So I ended up having some lunch. Me and Charlie were watching like Glee, lots of different things like that. Doctor came, yes, I want an epidural, went through everything that was happening, and then the anaesthetist came about 3:30 in the afternoon. So I got my epidural, and that took about 20 minutes to kick in, and then I got a catheter put in. I had a cannula already because I had to be put on a normal drip just to keep my fluids up, and I then got put on the hormone drip. So what happens with that, well, I don't know if this is the same for everyone, but I'm guessing it is. What happens with that is they start off at 0.5 mils or 0.3 or something like that, and every half an hour they up it to the next 0.5, whatever, and they check your blood pressure for 5 minutes twice after just doing it, and keep monitoring you throughout the whole thing to see how often your contractions are coming, and whether it's having any impact on the baby, like whether the baby is like upset by it, or you know, that kind of thing. But my baby was totally fine through the whole thing, absolutely fine. But my contractions started coming very thick and fast. Like she ended up having to, after a while, she had to say that I think she had to take me off the hormone drip altogether, because it was I think they were coming like 8 every 10 minutes instead of 4. So she needed a doctor to come and see, and they said, oh, you need to either go back down, or I had to got rid of it altogether at one point. Going back to the epidural was absolutely fine. I've seen so many people get them on like One Born Every Minute and different programs I've watched, and I was like, oh, it looks a bit scary. But I was lying on my side on the bed, I had the midwife with me keeping me still, Charlie was there, and it was absolutely fine. there was no fuss at all. And my worry about it was, what if by the time I come to push it has worn off? That was one of my questions. And she said, no, now what we do is, if you ever start feeling your contractions again, then we'll give you a top up, and it'll take 20 minutes. And then again, they check your blood pressure like 5 minutes after, then another 5 minutes after, just to check everything's fine. But yeah, it was, so anytime I would start feeling contractions, I go, I think I can start feeling them again, can I have a top up please? And she was like, don't be afraid to ask for a top up, because if you let it wear off completely, you're starting all over again and you're having to build it all up, whereas if you keep topping it up, it's keeping the pain away. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I did all that. That was lovely. And to be honest, if I have another baby, then I would definitely have another epidural. So I've gone through all of that. So at 4 o'clock, when I got put on the drip, I was 0.5 centimetre dilated. So after all of that time, you know, all of the induction process, I was 0.5 centimetre. By 8 o'clock in the evening, I had a different midwife called Rebecca. She'd swapped with Hager. The midwives would swap about 7:30, and she was so lovely. I mean, they both were. And she checked me at 8 o'clock, and I was 4 centimetres dilated, so I was in established labour by this point. Still having a lovely time. Wasn't allowed to eat much after this. I was drinking plenty of water. They wanted me to start drinking Lucozade as well, which I had, so I did that. But I did start feeling quite sick, and I don't know whether it's the Lucozade or whether it was just the drugs or what, but I was like, oh, do I feel like I'm going to be sick? I made Charlie pass me one of them dish things, and I was like holding on to it. But I wasn't anyway at that time. So in the meantime, we watched Love Island, we watched Glee, we were having a good laugh, we were chatting away, we were filming different things on our phones, messing about. My next examination was 12 o'clock midnight, and pardon me, and at that point I was 6 centimetres dilated. Then we decided to have a bit of a rest. I think the midwife that we had needed to go on a break, and another midwife came in for an hour. So we had another midwife come in and take over this our midwife Rebecca, just for an hour while she went and had a break and whatever. So we were having a bit of a nap. Then when I woke up, Rebecca was back, and Charlie was asleep on the chair. Charlie had, in the antenatal ward, had this really uncomfortable chair and was like really like hated it all week. When we were in labour ward, he had this really comfy armchair. It reclined right back. He had a pillow, like he was relaxed. So he was having the sleep of his life, like, you know, great sleep. I was sleeping on my side, and I think they kept having to move me. But I woke up and I was shaking uncontrollably. Like, I could not stop myself shaking, like my whole body. And I don't think I felt sick. I don't know, did I say I felt sick? No, she just said it was the hormones and the adrenaline, and not to worry about it. It was fine, it was all totally normal. So that was about 2:30. I next got examined at 4 in the morning, and she said that I was 10 centimetres dilated, and that the next thing to do was she was going to sit me up in the bed, and for an hour we were going to let gravity do its thing and try and get the baby's head to move down a bit. I'd never heard of this before, and my friend said, oh no, I was 10 centimetres, and I just started pushing. So I don't know whether it's because of the epidural or what, but it was fine, apart from the pressure that was building up in my bum was like something else. Although obviously with the epidural, I thought you just wouldn't be able to feel anything, but I could feel that. It was more that I couldn't feel the pain. I could still feel stuff. It was very weird. But anyway, so I had an hour. So in that hour, I was like, I really want to get changed, because I was wearing like a normal, my leopard print maternity dress. I was like, I really want to be in my nightie. I really want to take my bra off. It's killing. I kept my hair down. Why did I do that? Why didn't I put my hair up? Because, you know, I was going to be pushing in a very hot room, and it was just, I was going to be so sweaty, but I didn't realise that at the time. Also, we had a fan in our room because it was so hot in the labour ward. It's hot in hospitals anyway, right? But I mean, it was hot. But once it got to pushing, they knocked the fan off and shut the windows because when baby was going to be born, they didn't want the room to be cold. So got changed, got into my nightie that I'd prepared for labour. Obviously I'd packed a bikini and top and stuff in case I had a water birth, but I was wearing this other nightie that I'd also packed just in case I wasn't in the pool. And I was like, I really want to clean my teeth as well, so she got me like a sick bowl and was like helping me clean my teeth, which was really nice. Felt a bit fresher. Charlie went and cleaned his teeth, had a bit of a wash. So 5 a.m. and she was like, right, ready to push, we're going to do it now. Which we also had a picture, I'll maybe insert the picture. There's a picture of us just before like this all happened, so we were like, this is the last picture, just as us two. My boobs are all over the place, so I apologise for that. I had no bra on and, you know, big boobs. So it was at 5 a.m, time to push. She said to me, right, what we're going to do, you're going to put your feet on here, you're going to hold this bit, and I knew that I had to push down into my bum and not to be screaming, not to be holding on really tight and pushing into my hands or into my feet, because I've seen it on all these programs, just push into my bum. So, you know, contraction was building up and she was like, right, go for it. And I was getting like 3 pushes out per contraction. I could feel that. I started off quite relaxed, thinking, yeah, okay, I'm doing this. And she was like, you're doing so well. After a little while, she was like, let's try a different position. So I was on my side. Sounds really undignified, but I was on my side with my leg in the air. And I was pushing like that. And I was holding on to Charlie. And he was like, he was so good. So good. He was like, keep going, keep going. And I didn't scream. I kept my eyes shut. I just kept breathing, pushing, doing all the things that I was told to. She was saying I was doing really well. But I think after a while, rather than like slowing down my breathing between contractions, I was panicking. So I was like pushing and then being like, and I remember them going, slow down, slow your breathing down. But I was panicking. So I think it's not like a nice feeling. But anyway, it was okay. Then I was sat back up and I was back into the holding on to these things, and I didn't realise like time was going on by this point, and I was just like, you know, in my head it was all quite quick. And then I remember the doctor who told me she'd examined me like through the induction process, and they'd done like a walk round at the start of their shift. So I'd met all these doctors. There was like 7 doctors, and I'd met them all. They all came in and said hi. They explained like, I suppose like what my situation was. And this doctor called Frances came in the room, and I remember her going, hi Ashley, and I was holding onto this thing with my eyes closed, and I opened one eye and I was like, I could not speak. How people shout at their partners, tell them that they're never having sex again, never coming near them again, I hate you, all this carry on, I'm never doing this again, I can't do it. None of that could come out of my mouth. I could not have said a word. I honestly could not talk in between. The contractions were coming on top of the other. I was just constantly pushing. So I remember her coming in. They must have all had a conversation, and then she said, I'll give it 20 minutes or something like that. This is what Charlie tells me because I can't quite remember it. So I carried on pushing, was panicking, whatever. I was carrying on. Like I said, I didn't think it was that long. I think it was maybe about an hour and a half by this point. Next thing I know, I open my eyes and there is 7 doctors in the room. And I'm thinking, what is going on? I think someone must have said, you've been pushing for nearly 2 hours and it's time, like we might need to give you a bit of help. So I remember Charlie at this point going back and forward to the sink with a flannel and putting it on my head. I was so hot, and all I wanted to say was, you need to wipe my face. My face was so hot, but I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't get any words out. So I was just like, I think I was pushing and pushing, and then grabbed the flannel and just went like over my face. And he was like, you're doing so well, all that. But also he told the midwife that he didn't want to see anything down there. He wanted to stay at the head. So because of when that was all happening, he was having to go across the room to the sink. The midwife kept covering me over a bit, which was quite nice of her. Anyway, so all these doctors in the room, one of them said, I think we might have to take you to theatre. and deliver the baby in theatre. I think this is what happened, because you're struggling to, I think I was struggling to get her round this bend. Frances, who came in before, put her hand up me and said that the baby's head wasn't facing the right way and she needed to turn it. So she's got her hand right inside me, trying to turn Nelly around. I was like, oh, because I was thinking, what the hell? Like, that was not a nice feeling. And then she said, right, I think we're going to have to cut you. So they talked about taking me to theatre. I remember them taking a part of the bed away. I remember them injecting me with an anaesthetic down there and being like, oh my God. And then I remember the sister midwife coming over and saying, right, this is the good stuff, Ashley. So where my epidural was, it was stuck to my skin, I think, on here. And they must have topped me up with something even stronger. So I'm guessing it's some sort of the same thing but stronger, I'm not sure. So then they said they took a part of the bed away, so my eyes were literally hanging off the edge of this bed. There were so many people around me, and I remember thinking, oh my God, but I kept having to keep pushing through all of this. They were talking to me and I was still carrying on pushing. And then they said, right, we're gonna have to cut you, and I think we're gonna have to use forceps. Well, they're not the words you want to hear. They're really not. Although they'd said to me, with an epidural and with an induction and the hormone drip, the chances of an instrumental delivery are higher, I still didn't think it would happen to me. I was in the most positive mindset. It wasn't happening to me, but it did. So Charlie said he remembers seeing them cut me. I was bloody oblivious. You couldn't feel anything. So they did that. I opened my eyes when they brought the forceps out, and I wish I hadn't seen them, because it's still like traumatic to talk about it now. I've cried about it a lot because it was, I mean, it's not nice. They must have put them inside me, and when they did that, I had no contractions for 3 minutes. Everything stopped. I remember opening my eyes and just being like, what the hell's happening? And they were like, oh, we must have scared the contractions away. And I was thinking, oh my God. And Charlie said that was the longest 3 minutes of his life. So when they came, I think I got her out in 3 pushes then. I remember it was horrible. It was really not nice. But anyway, I got her out. I remember them saying the head's out, and I was thinking, oh my God, I can feel the head. I can feel it. And then thinking, in the next push, I'm gonna have my baby, and I did. And they put her on me, and she, you know, her head was all squished from the forceps. It had marks on her face and stuff, but she was there, and I was like, oh, and so happy, so pleased with myself. Turn around to Charlie. Charlie's crying. Like, you know, it was the nicest moment ever. Like, the rush of love, they say about, I definitely did get that. I know some people go, oh, I didn't get it, but I did. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is my baby, this is our baby, we've done it, we made her. And I would turn around and I went, where are Mummy and Daddy, where are Mummy and Daddy? And Charlie stroked her little cheek, and she loves her cheek being stroked now, and Charlie thinks it's because that was the first thing he did to her. So all amazing, loveliness, and we were like, this is Nelly, told everyone. In the meantime, my placenta's not coming out, so you know, not only have I had the forceps, but my placenta's not coming out. So I think they must have given me the injection to speed it up. Still no placenta. By this point, I think they got Charlie to feed Nelly, so she had her first bottle with Charlie in the window, and I was turning around being like, oh, and then they got a dress, and then they said to me, I think we're going to have to take you to theatre, and we're going to have to remove your placenta manually. And I was thinking, what? I have never heard of this being happening before. I didn't even know that was a thing that would happen. No one's warned me, but whatever. I was just like, I don't really want to push anything else out. I really didn't. So they came over, the anaesthetist came. I basically signed my life away on this yellow form, and they said, right, do you want to hold Nellie or do you want to leave Charlie and Nellie here? What do you want to do? And I was like, no, I don't want to hold her, but I want them with me. So Charlie was packing everything up. Nellie was in a little cot, all swaddled and dressed and lovely, and with a little hat on. And me and I think I got changed. They must have put a gown on me. And I got wheeled through to theatre, and I think because I was like, must have been quite drugged up, I remember them opening the doors, there being a load of people all dressed in the scrubs, and I was like, hiya! So the anaesthetist came and was like, had like a spray, and she was like, can you feel that? I was like, I don't know what you're doing. And she said, that's your legs. I was like, no, I can't feel that. They must have given me more. I don't even know. They must have given me more of a top up or something stronger or whatever, but I was completely numb from the waist down, couldn't feel a bloody thing. And then she was spraying it all up here. She's like, that's what I'm doing. I was like, okay. Then Charlie came in, he was all scrubbed up. He had, Nellie was in the cot, so she was there. He was sat right by my head, and they were doing whatever they were doing. And then I remember Charlie said, oh, the placenta's been delivered, like it was written on the board or whatever. And then I heard her say, we are going to have to take the stitches out and do them again. And I was thinking, no way. So I'd been stitched up in labour ward. I forgot to say that, because obviously I'd been cut, which is, I think, diagonally from your vagina to your anus, your perineum, cut. And I think I might have torn anyway, I don't know, this is very TMI, but anyway, so got sorted in theatre, got put on a trolley. I was so hot and sweaty. All I wanted was a shower, but I obviously couldn't feel my legs. So they said, right, we're going to wheel you through to the high dependency unit. So off I went on the trolley. Charlie was there with me in the lift. Nellie was in the cot. The midwife had her. We got taken to this other ward, and we both just cried and cried and cried, because I think we thought, oh my God, what the hell's just happened? Now we've got this beautiful baby, but oh my God, how traumatic was that? So traumatic. I did not expect that at all. I would still do it again. I would, in a heartbeat. I would totally do it again, but it's taken me a little while. I mean, it's only been 4 weeks. By that, I didn't say that at the start. I had her 4 weeks ago. But yeah, like, some birth. And I was only actually in labour for 11 hours, like established labour for 11 hours, but the build up, the whole afterwards. So eventually we got took to another ward in a private room, and that was lovely. Everyone was really nice on that ward, and the food was much better than it was in the antenatal ward. And once I could feel my legs, I got my catheter taken out, I got my cannula taken out, and I could try and have a shower, although I couldn't have a shower because I couldn't lift my legs very high because I was all stitched up. But that is my birth story, labour story. I would do it again. I hope I haven't put anybody off. Breathe, just breathe nice, deep through everything. I'm sure everyone that's done hypnobirthing knows the crack. I haven't done it, so I didn't know. But I know that breathing definitely calmed me down. And if you want the drugs, have them. That's my advice. And another thing, just don't have too much of a birth plan in your head, I suppose. Mine was completely opposite to what I wanted, but I knew that it wouldn't go to plan. I knew it wouldn't. Anyway, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or any stories of your own to tell me, anything like that, write it down below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.